This is what it looks like when an anxious weeb tries to rizz. One moment you're channeling your inner Sakamoto, thinking you're
smooth like butter,
and the next thing you know, you're pulling a full Kobeni, trembling like a chihuahua in an earthquake. Rizz. Apparently it's not as easy as TikTok makes it look. It's hard to talk about rizz since everyone sees it in their own way. Trust me, I've seen enough romance anime to know that what works in 2D rarely translates to our cruel 3D world. And if you're an anxious weeb like me, there is not one pickup line that will work on every waifu. What works for some weebs might make you look like a desperate simp who can't tell the difference between reality and fiction. Being able to rizz is a big deal in relationships, and in some cases, it can literally make or break your chances. But I feel like with rizz, because of the way anxiety works, we weebs try all sorts of different approaches, from the alpha male to the downright "what the fuck was that" attempt. So today, I wanted to talk about the art of rizz through the lens of everyone's favorite anxious devil hunter, Kobeni. Because who better to teach us about rizz than someone who's always one conversation away from a nervous breakdown? Let's get started. For those of you uncultured weebs who haven't seen the hot mess that is Chainsaw Man's Kobeni, this right here, this is what peak anxiety looks like. You know that one friend who gets nervous ordering at Starbucks? Now imagine them fighting literal demons for a living. That's Kobeni, a professional devil hunter who's more afraid of her boss than actual devils trying to eat her face off. Sometimes she can seem like she's unnecessarily terrified of everything, and on the odd occasion, she could hold down a job for more than 24 hours. That, my fellow degenerates, is Kobeni. Now before you attempt to rizz a Kobeni type of girl, let me give you a field guide to spotting one in the wild. First off, if they look scared out of their mind, then you know that they're just one customer service interaction away from quitting again. Or they've just taken their anxiety medication and they're just a bit unhinged. But the tricky part is telling whether they're about to have an anxiety attack or they're already mid-anxiety attack. And then there's the laugh. Oh boy, the laugh. Does someone you know laugh like a mixture between a nervous breakdown and watching their career path spiral down into a black hole? Then be careful, as they are probably a Kobeni. But here's where it gets dangerous. Kobenis always, and I mean always, plotting their escape route. But a lot of times you think these are just normal workplace items. So you have to be aware of anything that could be used to resign. If she has a pen, you have to question, is she really dedicated to work, or does she feel like writing another resignation letter? If she has her email open, is she planning to work, or is she just drafting her next "I quit" message? If she has a phone, what, you don't think she could call in sick forever? If she has a car, then you don't need to worry, cause Kobenis don't drive. That's just another thing for her to have anxiety about. When everybody started talking about Kobeni, and I heard people liked how she was always panicking, it still didn't look like something I would find attractive. I mean, who falls for someone just because they're just one customer interaction away from a nervous breakdown? And when I eventually watched Chainsaw Man, for the most part, I was wrong. It wasn't just relatable, it was like watching my own anxiety in 4K Ultra HD. I had more panic attacks watching her episodes than I did during my entire college finals week. And you know what? She still ended up being one of the most relatable waifus to come out of anime. It's like finding your anxiety soulmate, except they're fictional and somehow managing to hold down a job fighting literal demons. The anxiety is so endearing that I could spend hours just watching her have breakdowns on screen. And I did. So how do you even begin to rizz someone who's literally on the verge of quitting existence? After spending way too much time researching, aka having multiple anxiety attacks, I present to you the top 3 ways to rizz Kobeni. Number 3 is of course the classic, pretend to be more anxious than her, because nothing says I love you like out panicking your crush. I mean, who doesn't have that on their list? Number 2 is quitting your job before she quits hers. It's not a perfect strategy, but you know, still got tier. And of course, the number 1 way to rizz Kobeni of all time is getting a job as her therapist. Nah, that was a joke, guys. It was a joke. I was kidding. That's very questionable and probably illegal. So the real number 1 strategy I obviously meant was becoming her car. Because if there's one thing more anxiety-inducing than Kobeni, it's Kobeni behind the wheel. Now, trying to rizz somebody with Kobeni level anxiety isn't just hard. It's almost impossible. You'll hear phrases like, "I quit! I'm literally dying!" And "why is everything trying to eat me?" thrown around as casually as a devil hunter throws their resignation letter. And trust me, you'll think you got stuck in Kobeni's world of non-stop fear. But here's the thing about anxiety-based rizz. It works because it's genuine. Yeah, you might have to deal with a bunch of panic attacks just to ask them out for coffee, and a few more panic attacks while waiting for their response. And hey, if all else fails, just remember, if they start trembling, it might be anxiety. Or maybe they just remember that they still work in the service industry. And for those of you watching this who do work in service, my deepest condolences. Kobeni would be proud though. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go have an anxiety attack about whether this video was good enough. But hey, at least I didn't quit halfway through, unlike someone we know. Kobeni! So if you're not having an anxiety attack right now, but feeling brave enough, smash that subscribe button and comment below on the name of a 2D character that you'll be so down bad to rizz. But wait, we're not done yet with your rizz game. What if I told you there's an art to rizzing a demon slayer with a heart so pure as her appetite? Click this video right here to up your rizz game and become a rizz Hashira. And as always, thanks for watching and stay weird and thirsty, you degenerate weebs.